Hi, this is Danny Doyle. You are watching Chapter 1 of my Fire Emblem 4 0% growth run, and we are in the home castle. So this is not a feature that is in the prologue, even though you do technically have a home castle that if it gets seized and destroyed, you lose the chapter. In this, in chapters 1 through, well, every chapter after 1 other than, I think, chapter 6 also doesn't have it. You start out with all of your units rather than in the map. Like, we are still in a giant map, much bigger than the prologue, in fact, and there's already stuff going on, as you can see. I sort of skipped the opening cutscene, but you start out in your home base, and the home base functions differently than the base in Tellius, although I feel like it might be where the base in Tellius got inspiration from, because you do get things like the blacksmith, and this is the pawn shop I talked about. I guess it's called pawnbroker in this translation. I have only played the old translation mostly. I think I played the new one once, but some of the terminology I use might be, especially when it comes to character names, might be outdated. I'm going to try to use their current translations as of this patch, which might not be the official one because I don't play Heroes, so I don't know if they've updated them in Heroes. But if I slip up and mention a unit whose name you don't recognize, that's probably what it is. Or if I mention a feature like the pawn shop instead of pawnbroker. But here's where you can access, you can buy stuff from the armory. I forgot that there was just a second javelin, so like, yeah, I'm gonna get it for Finn. That way they both have one. I was debating who to give the javelin to, whether it was Quan or Finn, but like, I can just do both. Why not both? This is the blacksmith where I can repair my items. So Finn's broken iron lance suddenly becomes an unbroken iron lance. And then I get to visit the arena. The arena in FE4 works differently than in other games. Much like in other games, like, you go in, you fight, but you don't fight to the death. If you win in the arena, you make money and you gain experience. If you lose, you don't lose money like you would in, for example, Game Boy Advance, but you also don't die, more importantly. So while the arena is going to be useful to gain experience and gain money, it's also going to be useful for RNG manipulation. I sort of mentioned that earlier in terms of having a weak unit stick around for, like, shoving them into the arena. Ooh. So Finn was actually in miracle range there, so that was not as scary as it looked. I mean, it wasn't as scary as it looked anyway, because he wasn't going to die. But you do leave the arena with 1 HP, which is, like, if you lose, you rejoin with 1 HP, which is, like, not where you want to be at the start of the chapter. So it does carry some amount of risk when you're like, do I want to keep going and try to get more money? I mean, on the flip side, in a ranked run, or just sort of if you're trying to train staffers, one of the things that you can do is intentionally lose in the arena to put someone at 1 HP in order to heal them. You don't gain staff experience, but if for whatever reason you want to get regular experience on a staff unit, as I'm going to want to do at some point later in this run, I don't have the unit in question now. Myrmidon, I can try. I'll probably lose. Then, oh, I get doubled. Arena enemies will often have pursuit. The good thing is, he's in miracle range, so he has 40 more avoid than it appears, so it's actually only 12% chance to hit. I believe it's 40 more avoid, because I think it's every point of HP under 10. It might be 50 more avoid. It might be under 11. I can't remember which. Nice, level 10. In general, if you're training a staff user, it's better to spam return and warp, because they give you more experience. But they cost more money, so, you know, you might decide that you would rather use the heal. I think it's suboptimal to intentionally get hurt in the arena in order to train a staffer. But it's a strategy that you can do. Another thing that you can do is, as long as, I mentioned you could save at the start of every chapter, and that is true. You can also save if nobody's left the castle, then you can save. So you can do that to sort of like manipulate arena stuff. I don't know that I necessarily want to send everyone through the arena on camera because it's kind of boring, especially when a lot of it will be losing. Let me think about that. I will be right back. So I think what I've decided is that I will show the important people, like the people I'm training going through the arena, and the people whose money matters going through the arena. Oh, an important note about arena kills is they do not count for the silver sword, or for any sword. You see how that has 16 star? That's because Sigurd got 16 kills in the prologue with it. And that's the steel sword. So like he's going to, once I start using the silver sword by default for everything, it's going to start gaining crit pretty quickly. Out of curiosity, yeah, Finn got 20 kills last chapter because they don't count arena kills. So I sent Midir through the arena just to get a little bit extra gold, and I don't think Midir's going to promote, but like I'm going to send some people through the arena even if they're not investment targets, just because gold is still good to repair things. Even though you do spend weapon uses in the arena, it is net positive gold unless you are dealing like 1 point of damage per attack. But yeah, I'll send, let's save where we're at, because we've had victories in every arena. I will send Lex and, I'll send Lex and Finn through the arena on camera, and potentially Sigurd from time to time, just because his money is important. And that's so a little bit interesting to see, but I don't know that, I'm glad I saved, because, again, like, he had Miracle, so it's not, like, as bad RN as it looked. It was still not great chance to win. But I'm going to quickly reset and burn some RNs in the arena and see if we can actually get Finn a victory against that mage. Because I think it's possible and not like with too much RN abuse. So I'll be right back. Okay, here for another attempt with Finn. And if he fails this time, I might even cut it out just in post-production. I mean, level 6 is pretty high for... He's at level 1 right now, but Miracle in the arena is a big deal because I think FE4 is one of the games where arenas give a void, like they count as terrain tiles for both combatants. The 44 hit is not great, but keeping in mind that this guy has only 36 or 26, I can't remember, but he has worse hit on me after he lands his first. There we go, there we go. I don't think... Level 7 is the highest level. I don't think... Yeah, I don't fancy my chances against the general. So let's see... We're save. And let's see how far we can get... Let's see how far we can get Lex in the arena. I guess it might also make... I'm tempted to buy the Steel Axe just for this chapter, because Lex doesn't get the Brave Axe until next chapter. Because there is one in the armory, and like it's clearly for him, no one else can use it. 3,000 isn't what I want to pay for a weapon that I'm immediately... Well, I guess it's only 1,500 in the long term. Lex does not struggle with money. He's going to spend all of his money repairing the Brave Axe. Because much like the Brave Sword and the Silver Sword, I want to get kills on the Brave Axe. It's not as important because it's going to a unit that's going to get dropped. but it's one of the few items that'll be passed down to Gen 2, because part of not having kids is not being able to pass down items as easily. Since I'm using substitutes, they have their default inventory, whereas with the kids, parents usually pass down the things they're holding. So that's why getting kills on the swords that Sigurd's going to use are important, because they're getting passed down to his son, and they will have crit on them because of that. We'll save just after Lex. The Brave Axe is a weird exception because there are no children who can use axes. So anyone who's Lex is the dad of, he can't give any access to. He can give, like, rings that he has, potentially. But that's it. Or if he's holding... If he kills a boss and a boss drops a weapon he cannot use but his kid can use. No, 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 no. Oh, that's winnable. That's definitely winnable. BRB, that's, ugh. That feels bad. And back into the arena with Lex. So, the only way that Lex could pass a weapon down to his kids is if he kills an enemy that drops a weapon he cannot use, but his kid can, because he will pass his inventory down to his kids as long as they can use it. He won't pass any of his axes down because... Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Be right back. So yeah, Lex can't pass his axes down because the way inheritance works is children will get all of the weapons from their parents that they can use. So since no children can use axes, Lex's axes just get thrown away. Oh my goodness gracious. There we go. Dodge, and there we go. Jesus. The arena is much harder for Lex. I guess just because mages and their ilk, much like Hector, I guess axe units don't like magic, maybe? I don't know. Not my place to judge. But yeah, the only way he can send out an item is if he gets it from a boss drop, or he can send down rings, which, like, that's nice. Rings are nice, but because I'm assuming that this is because he can't do it. Any items that don't get passed down through inheritance do show up in the second generation, but I think uniquely to Lex's Brave Axe, it maintains its crits because it's supposed to be the same Brave Axe. It's dropped by, like, his cousin or someone who's within his family, at least. Whereas a lot of times the other weapons are just like, well, this is another silver sword or whatever it was that wasn't passed down. And they'll show up oftentimes just in the pawn shop, or not in the pawn shop, but, like, in the armory, or in the armory, or on, like, a random general will drop it, but they don't have kills racked up because weapons don't have kills normally. So I think it's kind of cool that the Brave Axe does maintain those, even though by the game's logic it kind of shouldn't unless it's the same Brave Axe, which I guess Lex kind of betrayed Sigurd and left his weapon to his ooh. Yeah, I feel like that's the choke point for Lex. Myrmidons are kind of like, they're the level in the arena where it's like, well, a lot of units aren't going to make it past these guys. Like, in a vanilla run, your chumps aren't going to make it past them, and in 0% growths, a lot of your guys aren't going to make it past them. Finn, I was willing to throw at that wall because of Miracle. Lex does not have that. Once he gets the Brave Axe, I might throw him at it again, just for a little bit of extra experience, but I think this is as far as he's getting prior to leaving the castle. So I'm going to go ahead and see how far I can get everyone else off screen and report back once I do that, because it's already 15 minutes in and this is, like, less than stellar gameplay. Okay, after a little bit of arena grinding, or not grinding, but a little bit of arena work, I have gotten some more gold on Sigurd and Ethlin and Quan. I've repaired everyone's weapons other than Ethlin and the Slim Sword, which is just going to be used for the arena. I don't necessarily know that I care enough to repair it at the moment because it's not close to breaking, and if Ethlin sees combat outside of the arena, it's kind of a mistake. She's just supposed to be healing. I mean, in this playthrough, in a vanilla one, like, it's fine. She has critical. She can use the light brand. She's not going to be a great combat unit, but you can use her if you want to. And then you saw Finn and Lex training on camera. Lex is level 8 and Finn is level 10. So they're getting close to their... Again, level 20 is the benchmark and diminishing returns, but I think at the very least Finn can make it pretty soon. Quan also has a conversation with Finn, and I believe this is the one that gives him... Finn has a couple of really beneficial conversations with Quan. He gets the Brave Lance at one point. I think this one just gives him some stat boosts, which is nice because without growths, like, Finn is a unit that relies on growing, and his promotion gains are going to get him a little bit of ways there, but rings and stat boosts from talking are also going to get him, are going to be beneficial. But I think it's time to depart the castle. We've done everything we want to do here. You can also assign someone to guard the home castle, like Arden was by default. I am not going to do that because I know that there is no need to in this chapter. There is an event that's supposed to scare you and make you realize, like, there is a event where enemies start charging your castle, but they never make it there on time due to a cutscene. Arden's actually going to come out and play as well. That is supposed to give you the heads up that, hey, I should probably have a guard, because in later chapters, there's not too many, but in later chapters it pays to have a goalie. Although, ironically, in those chapters, you usually don't want Arden to be the goalie, even though, like, that's what the prologue tells you should do. Don't listen to the prologue. So, send Sigurd ahead, equip the silver sword, and wait. Sigurd can use both swords and lances, but in most situations, even against sword users, it is more beneficial to use swords. They are just that good, as, like, the weapon triangle is unbalanced. I will sometimes use a lance to get the weapon triangle, because the bonuses in this game aren't terrible. It's not like Thracia. I think they're actually at their strongest in this game, but that does not do enough to change the fact that, like, look at how much an Iron Axe weighs, and there's no way to, like, 18 weight? Are you kidding me? You're just not going to double with these things. And lances are 12. Like, what is this? Meanwhile, a steel sword is 3. This is absurd. I know weapon weight is not the only thing that factors, and, like, there are no 1-2 range swords, but equip Javelin, talk to Finn, and we will get a little inspirational speech and a good stat boost. Strength, speed, and defense are, or strength, skill, and defense. Strength, defense, and something else. I don't remember which. I already forgot because goldfish. But, like, units who can gain stats, it would be nice if all of my units could do that. Why am I doing this to myself? It is a beneficial conversation. Meanwhile, all of Gandalf's brigands are charging... Or I don't think those are Gandalf. So there's 3 brothers who we're trying to take care of. and that is the youngest brother. He's actually with them. Gandalf is in this castle. He kidnapped Ideen and locked her up in prison because reasons. But his brother Jamka, who I think is the middle, maybe the oldest, just let Ideen go because he's in love with her. Everyone is in love with Ideen. This whole, like, half the people who join Sigurd's army do it because they're in love with Ideen. And Gandalf, I'm pretty sure, captures her because he's in love with her. It's just a whole, everyone loves Ideen. But now that Ideen has been let go, Gandalf's jealous nice guy senses have turned on, and he says, if I can't have her, nobody can. And now he's going to chase her. Ideen is a staff user. She is one of the few women who we will not be killing. And it's not because, again, like I said, anytime that I'm choosing a inheritance person over a substitute person, it means I'm sacrificing stats for something else that I want. And what I want from her is her husband has a holy blood that will allow her daughter to have A rank staffs unpromoted, which is good. B rank staffs, like, you cannot gain staff rank other than by promotion. And B rank staffs are good. You get access to warp and I think physic. You don't get fortify and you don't get rescue. And those are ones that I would like to have access to in early Gen 2. Or rather, in Gen 2 at all. Because I don't know... I mean, I guess staff bots are easy to promote. Just, I would like the extra staff rank. And I think that on a healer, stats are irrelevant or functionally irrelevant. Like, obviously, higher magic heals a little bit more. But the heal formula and mend formula in this game are very generous. And mend is at C. So, as soon as I can, I'm going to trade Mend onto Ethlin so that I have a better staff on a horse. Ideen is mostly just, like, she's a foot unit, so she's not going to keep up. I'm talking more about her than I did about the units who are actually, like, contributing in ways other than having a womb. But Ideen is going to be useful, just not as useful as... Her most useful utility is being a mother. Because she's on foot, so she's going to struggle to keep up with the people who are running ahead and want healing. Jamka, incidentally, freed a thief from the dungeon because Ideen asked him to, I guess, and he's just... That's the power of Ideen. Everyone loves her. Doom might not look like much at first, and in a vanilla playthrough, he's like... I mean, I ignored him in my first playthrough. He is important for a couple of reasons. So he has the ability to steal gold from other units. As I mentioned, enemies also have gold, so it made sense when that guy healed on the church. If Do successfully hits someone with his sword, he steals their gold. In addition, he can give gold to other units. He gives it all at once. He doesn't get to divvy it up, which is unfortunate. It does mean you have to plan around it some more, but Fire Emblem 4 is planning emblem. But the fact that he can do that without being in love is a big deal. Soul, not so much a big deal, because his combat's trash, garbage, not going to use it for... Soul is already not a great skill, and it doesn't make his combat any better. Bargain is, though. He gets a 50% discount at merchants, which means that he can functionally use the pawn shop for free. Because you sell everything at 50% value, that's why you lose money using the pawn shop, but Do does not lose money using the pawn shop. Bargain helps him be a successful thief, which is why Do is going to be a father. He's not going to be a father to Ideen's children, even though he kind of has a crush on her, I think, within the story. But he will be a father to Ideen's sister's children. Ideen's sister gets the real short end of the stick in that basically everyone who falls in love with her has a conversation where they're like, oh my god, you look just like the person I've been in love with my whole life, because it's her long-lost twin sister. And so it's like, she is everybody's sloppy seconds. Ideen picks someone else, so you get her sister. If she picks another mister, you can settle for her sister. but that's kind of the situation she's in. The situation these guys are in is pretty dire because I don't know that they can run away very well. They're gonna get stuck in the forest if they do. Like, he has 6 movement, and they all have also 6 movement. But eventually they get stuck in the forest. A lot of people like to do the thing where they visit the village with Dew to stop the village from getting destroyed. I don't think it's worthwhile because then this guy who's gonna destroy that village instead goes over here. So you lose just as much money. And if you're fast, which I probably won't be because 0% growths, but if you're fast with Sigurd's squad, you can get down there and save the village anyway. This guy's got a little ways to walk before he even starts burning it, and then you have 10 turns to save it. I think there's also the strategy of holding this choke point, but Dew gets one shot by the commander. So in an Iron Man, that's not advisable. I have made fun of Jacob for relying on that strat before, but I think it's what I have to do here. I think it's not what I have to do, but I think it's what I want to do here. That guy reaches the village, so I think I have to send Ideen here. I don't want to put Dew here because it counts as a road. Like the road in between the plains and the sands. I don't understand that. But I guess I'll send Dew to the village, which is less than ideal because I wanted to be able to divide up his gold. He'll steal from this guy, and then I can try to choke the point and heal with Ideen. And the nice thing is, with Dew choking the point, is that everyone he hits, he will steal some gold from. I may live to regret this decision, and if I do, I've got no one to blame but myself because I advocate against it a lot of the time. Let's see the Silver Sword in action. And this is... I'm going to clean up against this squad with the Silver Sword Sigurd and try to feed some kills, again, to the under-leveled duo. The Lex and Finn trainee squad. But I don't know how well they will hold up against a ton of enemies. I don't need to worry about doubling anyway, so steel is probably better. And equip iron. Oh, did I forget to... I forgot to take that to the blacksmith. I think it'll be fine to the next castle. The nice thing about the town is it's in every castle, so I can just repair at the next castle once I seize it. It's in every friendly castle. No-ish. Alec. And I am, once I have, like, women who I want to, like, the women who I am fine with, the women who are dying, I don't need to worry too much about positioning for, but the women who are staying alive and having kids, I want to make sure not to make them accidentally fall in love with the wrong man, because I will probably be taking a long time on a lot of these chapters, and that means more opportunities for people to fall in love. If they're standing next to each other, they will fall in love faster than if they are not. If I really get desperate, I might shove some people in the castle to stop them from falling in love. Ideen, in particular, I have a specific husband planned for her, and he joins pretty late out of everyone. So, and she has a high love growth with a lot of people. She has love events with some people, which love events, like, just give a lump sum of love points. Like I said, half of your army, like, Azel joined you because he's in love with Ideen. Lex joined because he's friends with Azel. Dew joined because he's in love with Ideen. Jamka is later going to join because he's in love with Ideen. Midir joined because he's in love with Ideen. Just everybody has the hots for Ideen. And by extension, her twin sister. Like, it does show that they just care about looks in Fire Emblem 4. It's really funny getting the lover conversations between people who fall in love with Bridget and Bridget, because the fact that that builds love points is very funny to me, because I feel like if someone came up to me and told me, you know, you look just like your sister, therefore I'm in love with you, it would not endear me to them terribly much. And now we get the... Wait. I thought when I checked ranges, that guy had the ability to fight Do. Maybe I was wrong? Either way, after just talking about how it's not especially worth it to do that, I did just that. Iron Lance. Pew, pew, pew. And here, we will show off. I don't actually want to visit with Finn, I'm pretty sure. Like, Sigurd has a lot of money because he does well in the arena, for now. Oh, that's a kill for a growth unit. Like Lex. Although, I kind of want to just start getting rid of these people. So maybe Arden on the Forest is not a bad idea. See, buddy, I told you I'd let you see combat one day. And this is why Kanto archers are good, because I can do sort of like the hit and run. What is that, 19? That's 14, that's a kill. And then say goodbye. What's your move? It's... Calculating move when there's roads involved is a little bit weird too. Because I want to heal, if possible, I would love to heal Lex. 24, sure. But I don't know, maybe just leaving him on the forest and letting Quan do this. And then the Lance Bros can hang out with their javelins equipped. Can Sigurd... Okay, I think what I'll do with Sigurd is Silver Sword and then sort of like block one space from Lex. I guess probably the north... well, I can't do the northmost one. There... And then I guess, how far does, okay, so Ethlyn can go over there, because this guy, he doesn't, okay. So I can heal her, or I can heal him with Ethlyn, and then move her over one more. And then get a little bit of, does Alec deal, I believe if he doubles, that's... If he doubles, that's a kill. He does double, okay. I don't even have to check weapon weight because axes. In fact, I probably didn't even need to check speed. I could have just assumed he doubles because axes. And then... I guess he can hide in this forest. I would like to have a forest to hide in for all of them. Well, see, the worry is, I guess, put him there, and maybe try to lure one archer with a Zell because he's squishy. Can you reach there? Okay, so you can go like above Alec. And we'll just have to like hope that enemies spread their attacks out in a way that's not ideal. We're getting close to the 30-minute mark anyway, so if someone dies, that'll be like, or we're over the 30-minute mark. We're getting close to the like 40-minute mark. So if someone dies, that'll be the end of the video. Otherwise, end of this enemy phase is a good enough place to stop. Level up for Finn, and yeah, he attacked Ethlyn, which, ooh, dodge. I didn't want him to attack Ethlyn, but it could have been worse. Dealing with this group is a lot harder than in a vanilla run. Like, I'm using Arden, for fuck's sake. Well, and I've got Javelin Finn, Javelin Quan, just like chipping away. I am worried about, that's the youngest brother who's the warrior. That's another one that, again, bosses don't give bonus XP except for that they're higher level. So, in a lot of games, being a boss means that you give more experience than you would normally. Like, there's a flag that they give. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, well, maybe you will. That's yeah. Oh, that was unfortunate. So that's a reset. Finn's gonna run away again. I guess I can show off like how that works. Is it flashes back to the home castle and he just sort of like slowly limps off. NES sprite or SNES sprite work is pretty cute in the Fire Emblem games. They do some stuff like that in Thracia too. But that's it for now. I guess I'll try that turn again. Like, subscribe, all the fun stuff.